Do you feel like your ideas never succeed? That things you come up with that just sound so good in your head, no matter what it is, whether it's business or relationships or ideas about life, they sound so good in your head, and then once you go to actually do them, somehow along the way you falter. And you can't figure out why, but you always seem to blame yourself, saying that, oh, that was just a bad idea from the start. I shouldn't have followed through with that and, kind of throw the towel in. Well, I want to shed some light in this video on what really makes an idea bad and why you probably aren't actually having bad ideas about business or life or whatever you're trying to do. So first off, do you actually have bad ideas? Probably not. And a lot of people can't really absorb this or kind of get this to sink in. But guys, if you have something in mind about a business or, whatever you're trying to pursue, someone has done it. Someone a lot dumber and a lot less talented than you has actually pursued this and won. And this could be with pretty much any single thing you're trying to sell, a product, a service. Really doesn't matter. Someone somewhere in the world has come up with the same exact concept as you and has executed it well and made a lot of money doing so. And it's very frustrating, and it's very easy to get caught into this like frustrating kind of loop about this because it's so easy. Just go on Instagram, go on Twitter. You can pretty much search up your idea no matter what that idea may be, and there's someone out there that's already doing it and making a killing from it. A lot of times this happens with inventions or ideas people have, and they say, hey, wait a minute, this is so novel, I've never heard of this, and then you can look it up, find someone online who's already making millions doing the exact same thing. So it's not necessarily that the market doesn't need what you have to offer, what you're trying to give to others. It's that you're getting stuck somewhere else along the way. So if your idea is actionable and harmless, it's not damaging the world or people around you, then it's really not what you would call a bad idea. Because again, there is someone who's making money or succeeding at pretty much anything you could name. So you never know until you obviously actually try it, but it's probably not that you're just awful at coming up with things. So the easiest place that people get stuck, and that I've gotten stuck so many times on businesses I've come up with and tried to grow into certain projects, is point A to point B. And that is probably the number one lack of understanding that I have had from age, 10 to 20 now, doing things and coming up with stuff, is that if you do not crystallize where exactly you want to be in 6 months, you're not going to have actionable steps to get there. And that is something I wish I could scream at a mountaintop for the entire world to hear, because it really needs to be said. You need to have a very, very clear idea of how you're going to get from point A to point B. And if you're trying to grow a social media platform, if you're trying to grow your TikTok, I'm at 5,000 followers now. I want to get to 15,000 in 6 months, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to get there. That is by far what is most important. It has nothing to do with your daily rituals. Do you meditate and do you read and do you do all this nonsensical stuff that doesn't really contribute to actually advancing your idea? I got this fake plant recently. I like it. I leave it on my desk and makes my room feel kind of naturey and whatever. But this does not help me actually accomplish my goals. And so many people will get caught up in stupid stuff that actually isn't getting them to where they want to be. So if you're trying to sell a product, if you're trying to sell a service, you're trying to get good at freelancing. If you're trying to get good at freelancing, learn what you're trying to freelance. This is something that, has taken a lot of people so many years to master. If you're a aspiring video editor, but you're not good at video editing and you don't have, clients who you've done video editing for, then you're going to waste a lot of your time doing things that don't matter. One of my businesses that I run at the moment is personal training on Instagram in the fitness industry. Now, very recently, I've decided that, hey, it is important that right now we do a lot of outreach to people that are looking to improve their physique. So I'll start talking to a lot of people through DMs, say, hey, what are you looking for? I offer coaching. Is it something you would be interested in? But if you're a personal trainer that doesn't post content, that doesn't do outreach to people, that isn't selling their own services, getting testimonials, then you could have the best idea about a personal training business in the world. It doesn't matter. It's going to go wasted. So you need to figure out what actionable things you actually need to do in the next 6 months and just get them done. The number one culprit, at least in my opinion, of spending time on things that aren't important is the website, logo, color scheme, time-wasting sort of funnel that people fall into. And this happens in literally every business I've seen online for people that start and fail. And that is spending an excessive amount of time building a website, spending time on, WordPress and nonsense. Actually, I'll tell you a story about this because this was such a big problem for me with one of my businesses I started a long time ago that it would feel like a crime not to mention it in this video. So, long time ago when I first started freelancing, before I had a lot of clients and started growing that space, I made a website on WordPress. Now, WordPress is not my specialty. There are things I specialize in. WordPress, actually the coding end of like making like a pretty front end for like a website, that's not something I specialize in. I write for the website, obviously I edit videos, do all that stuff. I do not actually go on WordPress and do all the fancy stuff with WordPress. That's not my forte. So I decided, hey, let's try to build a website from start. We have no clients, mind you, no connections, no clients at the moment, but let's build a website on WordPress in painful, excruciating detail. So I literally sat there for days and weeks and hours trying to build a website on WordPress. It was exhausting, it was horrible, and the website looked like garbage at the end of it. So I did all of that for nothing, and it wasn't important because I wasn't selling website building. So the moral of that story is that you don't want that to be you, and you certainly don't want that to be someone that you care about, your friend, whoever it is. You don't want that to happen to someone that's trying to grow a business. So, wasting time on, what color the logo is going to be, if that is not directly helping you get sales, and usually it's not, that's a stupid thing to waste time on. So, again, think about what your business is, what are you actually selling, and, if a website is not crucial to your business, then you don't need to waste a lot of time on it, and you could go with a very simple website builder. So for this channel and this brand that you guys are consuming right now, I created a very simple newsletter. You could sign up, by the way, with the link down below in the description if you want to see more thoughts and insights from me, but used a very simple newsletter builder, and I like it. I get to email people and talk to them. It's great. So I didn't have to go through the aggravation of building another WordPress site for a month when it wouldn't get me anywhere closer to my goals. So again, you want to see what exactly you're trying to achieve in 6 months and what steps, literally write them down. What steps, put them on Notion. What steps do you need to actually get there? Another concept people have such a hard time sort of shaking off that I try to tell people all the time is that time, the actual time you put into something, does not indicate quality at all. So you could spend a lot of time on something, but if the result is bad, or if it really was just in that kind of rare instance, like a bad idea to pursue, then you just wasted all that time. And even if you spent 10 hours a day every day, ultimately, if the idea was not quality, you just spent a lot of time for nothing. So people really do have a hard time accepting that spending a ridiculous amount of hours on something really doesn't make it quality. So you could sit here and go, oh, I'm distracted. I only worked for 4 hours today or 3 hours today. The amount of hours you spend working doesn't matter. It's what is the end result? What is the point A to point B that you're trying to get to, and how do you get there? So, people are obsessed with, their environment and what they have going on, and, oh, I listen to this kind of music and I wake up at this time in the morning. None of that matters. None of that matters, guys. It really doesn't. And, some people have come up with better ideas in literally an hour, literally 1 hour, than people have spent years coming up with ideas. There are plenty of businesses, products out there that have just been spur of the moment kind of things, hit songs that have become, spur of the moment ideas that actually ended up doing really well. So you can't beat yourself up about the amount of hours. It's the deliverable. What are you delivering to yourself and to your clients or whatever you're trying to achieve? What are you coming up with that people want? Now, I am not of the opinion that it really matters if you jam music while you're working on stuff or have a, cluttered room or whatever. I mean, I choose to keep my room organized, but, it doesn't have to be that way if that doesn't change your output, your A to B. If you like to jam music, I jam music all the time. That does not prevent me from effectively writing a newsletter or effectively making, crypto videos like I used to do on this channel all the time. That does not change what my outcome is. So I don't obsess over things like that don't matter. The final thing I want to leave you with that I think is really worth considering is, what does this idea actually do for you? If you're coming up with something, does it make you money? Does it provide you pleasure? Does it do something for you? Because that might change the way you approach it. Now, an example of this that so many people I personally saw and that I'm friends with and that I see do this all the time is in the gaming industry. Now, gaming on YouTube is a brutal space. You guys, I'm sure, know this, that it is brutal to try to actually grow a career out of a gaming channel. It's just not possible. It really can't be done at this point unless you are very, 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 very lucky. That is one of those rare circumstances where I would literally say, yeah, it is a total crapshoot to try to build a business on like a gaming channel right now, just entertainment, being a guy who reacts to TikToks or, a gamer now that live streams on YouTube or whatever. That's not reasonable. I'm just being honest. It's hard. It is extremely hard. If you like it, do it, but it's very, very hard. So I know people that still do it because they enjoy it, despite knowing that basically, monetarily, it's kind of a dead end. There's no way to effectively monetize it. There's no way really to grow as a brand at this point with the saturation on Twitch and YouTube. There's no way to really get like meaningful brand deals long term unless you're absolutely massive and just happen to get a viral, video or whatever. But even then, it is so hard because it's entertainment. There's a lot of money in finance, crypto, business, philosophy, a lot of the stuff I like, but there is a lot of money in the things that I try to pursue on YouTube, and that's not by accident because I'm trying to make something out of them. It's naturally entrepreneurial to do things that make money. So a lot of people I know that do the gaming thing, they're doing it totally because they love it and totally because they find it pleasurable. They know this is not something they're going to be able to live off of. So that might take a little bit of the, A to B burden off of you when you're trying to, get from point A to point B because your livelihood or your business is not at stake. It's not a business. It's a hobby. And again, that happens in the music industry as well. People releasing music, again, very, very hard to kind of get that to where you want it to be. So overall, in my view, the number one reason why your ideas don't succeed, and something that, again, I wanted to leave you with, is that you're not figuring out what the deliverable result is, what you actually have to have as a prerequisite for you to make a living off of whatever your idea is. If it's 100,000 followers, if it's, 100,000 followers on Twitter or TikTok or something like that, or 5 clients paying you X amount of dollars a month, you have to worry about getting there. Everything else is just fluff.